So a few weeks ago, I made two videos. I made a base game secrets and an expansion pack secrets video, and you guys seem to really enjoy those. Game pack and stuff pack secrets videos are incoming, but I decided I wanted to make a build mode secrets in The Sims 4 video, and that is what we are doing today. We are talking about things you may not know that are in build mode, little hacks and tips and cheats and all of those kinds of things. But before we jump into that, if you know anything about me, you know that I like to keep myself way too busy, so I've actually launched a whole nother Sims channel. If you didn't know, I started this channel as Ultimate Sims Guides, a partner piece to my website, Ultimate Sims Guides, which a lot of you probably don't even know that I own that website as well. I do a lot when it comes to The Sims, but I started this channel as a way to have guides in video form because a lot of people find those more helpful, and those videos did pretty well, and then I transitioned into it being more about like me and talking about the game and different things like that instead of just about the guide videos, so I've started another channel called taylorsaurus Guides where we will have all of those kinds of Sims 4 how-to videos. That's going to be the first link in the description of this video if you want to check it out. Go over there and subscribe and support me over there. I would really appreciate it. There's already been hundreds of you that have gone over, and I love you guys so much. You guys are literally incredible. But let's jump into build mode secrets in The Sims 4. So here we are in build mode in just one of the basic Sims houses. One of the base game ones, very simple, very honestly bland, but like, we can all edit things. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this build mode secrets thing is something I know a lot of players don't actually know exists, and that is the ability to auto window. So if you have a room like this, it's just a little bump out on your Sims home and you go into the windows page, you can actually click here and do it by room. So normally you'd be able to individually place these windows and you kind of have to make decisions on your own, or you can just have the game place windows in spots that make sense. Now this is something that doesn't always work. Sometimes they place way too many or way too few and it looks a little ridiculous, but on this little block here, this actually makes quite a bit of sense. 3 windows on here, 1 on each side. Looks pretty good and makes it so you don't have to think about window placement as much if it's not something that you enjoy doing. Our next thing is being able to wallpaper a little bit quicker. Now I actually didn't know one of these until a few days ago when I was live over on Twitch, and one of my Twitch chats told me that you're actually able to hold down Alt while wallpapering to do a single wall. So a lot of people might know that you can shift click and it will do the entire room and just completely paint that whole room, which is another thing that you may not know, who knows, but hold down shift, it does the whole room. Obviously this is considered different, this little section in the middle there, but you are also able to just hold down Alt and it will do just that wall, which is something that I didn't even know until a few days ago. So shout out to Just Be Positive on Twitch, I really appreciate you. But that's one thing that can make building a lot faster if you're able to just do one wall or do the whole room. If you want to paint this whole room blue but only this wall, there you go. We're moving on. The next one is making your roofs more interesting. So there's a lot of things you can actually do here with all of these little knobs. A lot of players just go up and down and side to side, but you can actually make your roofing quite interesting with some of these little tricks. So some of the stuff you can do is actually move this out to make a round roof, which has completely changed the entire vibe of that house for sure. It's pretty fun looking actually. I enjoy it quite a bit. And you can also use these little balls to make it look more like this. It honestly looks like you could skateboard off the side of that, which I think would be very fun. And you can also just edit like little parts of it if you want to make it completely different. There's a bunch of balls that will appear and you can definitely mess around with it quite a bit to make very individual roofs. I know that a lot of players just end up with a regular gabled roof, and that's a little bit boring if I'm honest, and this just makes it a little bit more interesting. In addition to that, you can also move these in and out to make that look more interesting as well, or if you hold down shift and use any of these arrows, you can adjust just one side. If for some reason you want one side to be a little bit longer and the other side to be a little bit shorter, you do have that option. This definitely looks like something you could skateboard off of, but I enjoy that. The next one is to be able to get quarter tiles. So if you wanted to make something a little bit more interesting in your home, you wouldn't really be able to make it like a diagonal without it looking really weird without knowing how to do this. So if you wanted like a weird diagonal thing, what you want to do here is you want to hold down Control and F, and it will actually allow you to place quarter tiles. This is really great for having like little sections where maybe your kitchen enters into an open living area, or if you just want to make your floors a little bit more interesting with those quarter tiles, it can definitely help to do that. Now, if you're a beginner player in The Sims 4, you might just go ahead and try to auto counter everything, where if you have auto counters turned on, you'll just have like a counter here, and then you go this way, and then let me get that TV out of the way. We're just building in the living room, but then you go one over here, and the game will just place a corner there. Now, if you didn't know, there's actually way more options than this that appear with this little gear where it says automatic counter placement is turned on. Click again to turn it off, and then you can actually get pieces that are a little bit more interesting. Ones that can make it so you can turn in different directions, you can have end pieces, and this also applies for overhead counters as well, and you can even get like big cabinets that just blend nicely with your counters and make the whole kitchen look so much more interesting. But they have a whole bunch of different sizes, like these, ones that go on like either the left or right side, ones for corners, like there's just you've got honestly quite a few options when it comes to cabinets and to counters, and just having it like auto-populate is a little bit boring and makes your kitchens a lot less interesting because the game just gives you like the most basic of swatches, and this can just change up the way your kitchens look and make them look so much more professional, like you actually know what you're doing. Now, if you ever have a moment where you feel like your entire house is like too close to the street or too far back, or you want it one tile to the left, unlike past games, you're actually able to pick up your entire house. And I had someone recently be like, how did you do that? So I've learned that some people don't know that this is a thing, but if you go to the top of your screen there, you can see move lot and house. So you can move just the house, or you can move everything on your lot, which is also an option. But if you just want to pick up your house, you can click on it under here and just pop it back, you know? Maybe pop it back, pop it forward, pop it to the left, whatever makes your heart happy. Obviously, there was a little bit of terrain paint that EA put down under this house, so it looks a little silly when you move it over, but it does make it a lot easier if you just didn't put it in the right spot, or you just feel like it needs to be a little bit further back. 100%, one of my favorite things to do is just to pick up the whole house and move it around. So if you're not the type to cheat in The Sims 4, you may not even know about the Move Objects cheat, which is one of the most used ones, I would say, for most players in this game. So what you want to do here is open your cheat box. Just to be sure, we want to always turn on cheats with testing cheats true, and then type in bb.moveObjects, and then a space and the word on, and this will change the way that you can build. So traditionally, all you can really do is have your things go on a grid system where you can just place them like this. The Move Objects cheat actually allows you to bring things closer. So normally you wouldn't be able to place that there, you'd have to have it out here, but you can place your flowers like in the home so it looks like they're kind of built closer to the house, making them look a little bit more natural, which is really helpful. And you can use this for so many things. Like you want something really close to something else, but it won't let you, move objects. You want to have this so that it hits the person while they're eating their dinner, move objects. And then you also, the next thing is the ability to alt place objects, which is one of my favorite things. Alt placing is great because it allows you, let's go out into the sun a little bit more. So alt placing is awesome because normally you're on this grid system here. But alt placing, if you hold down Alt on your keyboard and you move around, you no longer have to deal with the confines of that grid system. And you can also do a 360 spin. That's one of my favorite things because doing like normal turning of objects, you know, you get some angles, but you don't get every angle. So you can have things really close together with that Move Objects cheat and then have them on whatever angle you want by holding down Alt and placing the objects that way. So there are some really cute shelving units in this game, depending on what packs you have. And a lot of the time you might have something that's a little bit too big for the shelf and it just won't place up there, but you really want it. What you want to do here is use the raise and lower cheats, which if you have testing cheats on and Move Objects enabled, you'll be able to just hold either the 9 key to raise or the 0 key to lower. And this is just like a complete game changer. And you can just like push things into there. It might look a little bit weird because like it doesn't actually fit, but it is quite cute. Now you see how it is clipping there on the outside. The next thing you might want to know is the ability to size up and size down. This is genuinely one of my favorite things. So what you can do here is you can use these square bracket keys on your keyboard to actually just make that object the littlest bit smaller. And then with a little alt place, move objects, moving it up, like all of those things, you can just have that sit inside of that, chillin', looking so cute and fitting perfectly because you've sized it down. Now you also have the ability, let's raise that back down to the ground and use the other one and make this as large as the game will allow. You could, oh, the game did not like that. Let me make that a little bit smaller so that we can see it again. Oh, Okay, the game is like definitely mad at me. The lighting got a little bit weird when we put it over here, but you do have the option with move objects to just have a giant flower in the middle of your neighborhood if that's something that you're into. I don't know why you would be into that, but you know, you never know. Maybe that's something that you like. But you can raise things up to be really ridiculously sized. This is really funny if you just have a giant baby Yoda or a giant like pig statue. Those always make me laugh. Or giant toilets. That's a good one too. There's a lot of things you can size up or size down. Just try not to use it too much for things that are functional or else the animations will not be correct. So one of my favorite hacks in The Sims 4 for decorating counters especially is being able to alt place objects on them. And what I mean by this is when you are decorating a counter, there are like certain slots on it that your things can go to, but there's really not that many. Like you can see here, there's like 5. And that's just like not enough for me. So without getting any kinds of mods or changing the way the game operates, what you want to do here is move the counter you're trying to decorate out of the way, click on the object and then hold Alt. It will keep the location, like the height of the counter, and you'll just be able to like place it right here. And let's say you want to add a paper towel and have it right beside that object there, just like far enough away where it's not touching. And then you move it over and they're hanging out right on the edge of the counter. And it just looks so much more natural when things aren't on that grid because it just makes more sense to have them a little bit like this instead. It's just one of those things that you need to know how to do. This is especially important if you're trying to add like soap dispensers. Like if you're trying to add a soap dispenser to a sink, like all of the placements don't really make sense. Like this one's literally dangling off the edge. Like this one's not bad. That one's probably the best you're going to get, but if you wanted to have it like over in this corner here, you really aren't able to do that, which is unfortunate. But you can actually just alt place it, have it be hanging out right there in a spot that makes a little bit more sense, makes it clip less, and isn't dangling over the sink. So holding down Alt with move objects on is one of the best ways to decorate things like counters or shelving units or little tables that you have hanging out. It just makes a lot of sense to decorate them like that and make them a little bit more cluttered to make your homes feel more lived in. And our last 2 secrets in the game are things that I feel like a lot of players know about, but if you're a new player to The Sims 4 or a new builder, you may not know about all the things you can unlock in the game. So we're going to start off with the unlock entitlement cheat, which is a fun one. There's a bunch of objects in this game that are locked, and it'll say something like unlock by reaching level 8 of the entertainment career while in the comedy branch, and you're like, but I really want that mirror. There is a cheat for that, thankfully. So what you want to do is make sure that testing cheats is enabled. That is very important for all cheats in The Sims 4 to make them work. Then for this one, you want to type in bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement. I almost spell it wrong every single time, but that is the weirdest cheat in the game. But then it won't actually show you that they're unlocked until you go back and come back into there, and then you will be able to get all of these beautiful objects, you know, so, like bring that up a little bit. Now, one thing about mirrors you should know is you cannot size these up or down. You get what you get and you don't get upset because they get a little weird, but you can move them up and down. And that is just like such a cute mirror for like a kid's room or a vanity. It needs to be in the game, so you want it without having to actually work for it. That is one of the ways to do that. There's also like this one that comes with the acting career, and it's just like cute. It's just cute. We just like it. So you can use the bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement cheat to get that one done. And the final thing on this list is both the debug cheat and the live edit objects cheat. So one thing you'll notice is there's a lot of objects like out in the world that you can't actually get access to, or things that your Sims use that just aren't in the build by catalog. Things like maybe an empty plate, different utensils, different tools. You might just want to like decorate your Sims homes with these very specific objects. There's even like little post-it notes in Debug that you can put on your Sims fridge and get access to all these fun objects. So what you want to do here, there are 2 cheats. The first one is Debug, which is more of like your household objects, things that your Sims use, things that your Sims might unlock. You can even find a baby in Debug. That's a weird one. But this cheat is bb.show hidden objects, and you hit enter, and a bunch of stuff is going to appear in all sorts of random categories in the game. Thankfully, you can even filter your items and go and search just through Debug from here. So if you have the Eco Lifestyle Pack especially, there's a lot of really fun furniture in Debug because of all the stuff your Sims can fabricate. So there's things like these, there's like the desks that you get with Get to Work and items like that, as well as all sorts of just like decorative items. Now you can search search for things as well. Oh, Nifty Knitting is another great debug pack because of all of the knittable objects that are just so cute. Maybe you want a mother plant tendril from The Sims 4 Strangerville just hanging out in your Sims home. Maybe that's something you're into. Some motivational posters. We've got all of the things you can craft on the woodworking table, all of the awards you can get. There's so much stuff in Debug. It's actually pretty wild. Some already carved pumpkins if you don't want to use those if you have The Sims 4 Spooky Day. And there's genuinely so many objects you can get in Debug that you can't get in the regular catalog. You also do have the ability to search for things. So let's say I wanted to get a strawberry to influence the gender of my Sims kid. You can go in there and just find strawberries and other objects as well. Now the other one is Live Edit, which is all of the stuff you're going to find in the world. So this is like different kinds of plants that you might not be able to get access to, different kinds of fencing that you might not be able to get access to, and so many other just random things in the world. The best part about the Live Edit and Debug is landscaping is completely free in this. You don't actually have to pay for it, which is really great. But this cheat is going to be the same thing, bb.show live edit objects. They're all pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're pretty weird cheats. You gotta just learn how to memorize them. And when you go in and you look for live edit objects, you'll be able to find things in the plant sections that you aren't able to find normally. Another thing you can actually find is all of the buildings that are just like hanging out in different parts of the Sims worlds. So like this one is from the Sims 4 Discover University. These are some of the Foxbury buildings that are just hanging out in the background. And you can't really size them up or size them down. They're like kind of, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Apparently that's the motto of this one. But there are a bunch of weird things in the Debug catalogs that you can just like find and hope that they work. And there you have it, friends. Those are my build mode secrets in The Sims 4. If you haven't already, please make sure you go and subscribe to taylorsaurus guides if you like that kind of content and like to see different how-tos for the game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel as well if you haven't already, and I really hope you're having an amazing day. I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.